Hi guys. Over the past few months, we've been hearing the same doubts again and again. The questions are very direct. People ask us, if I want to grow faster, should I focus on business analyst role or data analyst role? Which options actually have a long-term value, not just a better salary? Based on what I'm doing right now, which role makes more sense for me? Which of these roles are more likely to have an impact by artificial intelligence? And 5 out of 10 years down the line, will this role still be relevant? I personally feel that these aren't really casual questions. These questions come from people who don't want to spend years going in the wrong direction. But when they search for the answers online, what do we usually see? One video focused only on salary, another pushing business analyst role over the other, another claiming data roles are the future. Very few people explain how to choose the right path based on your current skills, your experience level, and where you actually want your career to go. That's exactly why we decided to make this video. I mean, not to just say that business analyst is better or data analyst is better, but the fact is that can we help you clear the confusion? And one more thing, towards the end of this video, we'll also talk about new roles that sit between business and data. Companies are hiring them today across tech, consulting, fintech, healthcare, CROs, etc. etc. So, whether you are a student figuring out your direction, or a fresher looking for a faster growth, or a working professional planning to shift, I would urge you to watch this until the end. First, let's talk about scope because this is where career choices become future proof. Before choosing any role, ask yourself one question. Will this role still matter 5 to 10 years from now? Based on how global consulting firms like Deloitte look at the future of the work, the answer is yes. But their roles won't stay the same. They will evolve and long-term growth will come from those who adapt and upskill. What is the scope of data analyst? According to Deloitte Insights, if digital transformation is the engine of change, business analysts or BAs are the transmission. While leadership provides the vision and IT provides the tool, the BA is the one making sure that they actually connect. It's more like a connector. Without a dedicated BA, transformation efforts often stall because there is no one to translate high-level digital dreams into functional requirements. Processes keep evolving, technology keeps upgrading, and AI adoption, well, this will continue. This is why business analysts remain essential. AI can automate tasks, but it cannot understand business intent, manage stakeholders, or translate strategy into executable requirements. That human bridge between business goals and technical execution is what a business analyst does. And definitely he does it well. Demand for data analysts is growing even faster. Data analyst roles are growing really fast. As we see, data volumes are exploding. Businesses rely more on data driven decisions, and AI today is reshaping operations. With global data expected to exceed 180 zettabytes, companies across industries need analysts to turn data into competitive advantage. Also, companies collect massive amounts of data, but they struggle to convert it into clear, actionable decisions. That's the gap why data analysts are really high in demand across healthcare, CROs, life sciences, finance, and technology. These are the sectors that are really looking forward to use the data analysts in the best possible way. So when we talk about the scope, the conclusion is very clear. The real question now is what each role actually does and how that work looks like in the real world. So let's explore that. Who is a business analyst? A business analyst helps organization understand business problems and turns them into clear practical solutions by acting as a bridge between business and the technical teams. He ensures alignment, clarity, communication so that the right solution is built for the right problem. Let's come to another point. Salary of a business analyst at an entry level, he can probably earn somewhere between 4 lakhs to 8 lakhs per annum. And as you move into the mid-level roles, this typically increase to almost like a 8 to 12 lakhs per annum. And once we are getting into a senior level and handling complex stakeholders with high impact projects, salary could possibly move up to 20 lakhs per annum and even beyond. Now let's talk about a data analyst. A data analyst is someone who works with data to help businesses understand what's happening and make better decisions by turning the raw data into useful insights, using numbers, pattern, logic to explain trends, performance, and outcome that teams and leaders probably act upon. The salary of a data analyst is slightly different. At an entry level, the salaries usually fall in the bracket of 4 to 6 lakhs per annum. At a mid level, they move up to almost like a 10 lakh per annum. And at a senior level, depending on the technical depth, the domain expertise, salaries can probably go anywhere between uh, 12 to 22 lakhs per annum or more. Now, to a better question, how do we compare a business analyst and a data analyst? I would say the difference is not small, it is fundamental. A business analyst purely focuses on business problems, process improvements, efficiency, tries to understand things, how they are working today and how they should work better for tomorrow. Responsible for making sure the solution being built aligns with the business goals, has high day-to-day interaction with stakeholders, managers, and tech teams, produces BRDs, business requirement documents as we call it, FRDs, the functional requirement documents, and UATs. This is called the user acceptance testing reports, create process maps, defines what should be built when a business analyst delivers a BRD, process maps, and UAT reports. The business gains clarity. Clarity on what needs to be built and why it is needed or how it works. This helps the organization to avoid building the wrong solution. When you look at the KPIs for a business analyst, success is measured through process efficiency, stakeholder satisfaction, and clarity of requirements. So, in real terms, a business analyst gets paid for defining the right problem before money or time is wasted. It's all about optimization, preventing rework by giving clear, unambiguous requirements, aligning business and tech teams so that solutions are delivered correctly, improving processes so that business is saving time, cost, effort. In short, a business analyst get paid to make sure the business is built. In short, a business analyst gets paid to make sure the businesses are built and the right thing is done the right way. So how do we do this on a day-to-day basis? A business analyst works using structured methods to understand and organize business needs. This includes gathering techniques, stakeholder analysis, gap analysis, SWOT analysis, and they rely heavily on business process modeling, often using PPMN and usually work within Agile and Scrum frameworks. Part of their responsibility also includes supporting user acceptance testing and helping manage change during the implementation process. To support this work, business analysts commonly use tools like Excel, Power BI, Jira, Confluence for documentation and tracking, Visio for process flows, and wireframing tools like Balsamic. Having basic SQL knowledge is considered a strong advantage. I would say this is a must. On the other hand, a data analyst starts from a very different place. Their work begins with descriptive or operational analytics, working with raw data to understand what data exists and how reliable it is and what it reveals before any conclusions are drawn. A data analyst focuses on data analysis, insight generation, patterns, metrics, responsible for ensuring the data being used in a very accurate, reliable, and a meaningful way. Spends most of the time working with data, presents insights as and when required, delivers dashboards, reports, trend analysis, and insights. When a data analyst delivers dashboards or reports or the insights, probably the business gains an understanding about what's happening, what actions should be taken next. For a data analyst, KPIs revolve around the accuracy, the dashboard usage, and what's the impact of the decision. So, in real terms, a data analyst gets paid for ensuring data can be trusted, clean, accurate, consistent, finding patterns and trends that are not obvious, explaining why something is happening using data, supporting decisions that affect revenue, cost, growth, or risk. In short, a data analyst gets paid to help the business make a better decision based on data. He or she would follow a more technical workflow. Their process typically begins with data collection, cleaning, followed by exploratory data analysis, SQL querying, and statistical analysis. They focus on identifying trends, automating reports, and communicating insights in a way that the business teams would use. Their data tools usually include advanced Excel, SQL, Python, R, and data visualization platforms such as Power BI or Tableau. At a more advanced level, they also work with databases, cloud platforms, etc. Let me be very clear here. This is something which I tell candidates all the time, that there are no shortcuts in either of the careers. You can switch tools, change your job titles, or chase trends. But if your core skills are weak, growth will eventually stop. Now, let's break this down quickly for a deeper understanding. Business analysts, skills you must build. A strong business analyst is not just someone who attends meetings or write documents. Real value would come in from how you think and how clearly your communication skills are. Critical thinking is absolutely important. It's non-negotiable. You need to question assumptions, connect the dots, challenge requirements when something doesn't make sense. Communication and stakeholder management are absolutely important. You work with different stakeholders, business leaders, technical teams, and sometimes clients, and your ability to explain complex ideas simply is what builds the trust. Then comes process mapping and documentation. Whether it's a BRD, FRD, or a process flow, your work should create clarity and no confusion. Structure, logic, attention to details, they are absolutely important. Domain understanding is a big differentiator. A BA who understands how the business actually operates will outperform someone who only knows the framework. And finally, an analytical mindset is definitely essential. Even if you don't code daily, you must analyze information, spot the patterns, support decisions with logic, and just not assumptions. Data analysts, skills you must build. Now let's talk about data analysts, because here the skill expectations are very different and they are much more technical. First and foremost, strong logical thinking is the foundation. Data analysis is all about asking the right questions, structuring problems logically before you can even touch the data. Then comes SQL mastery. This is not something which can be ignored. SQL is the language you use to talk to data. If your SQL is weak, everything else becomes slow, inefficient. Next in line is Python for analysis. Python allows you to clean data, automate workflows, perform advanced analysis, and scale your work. It is what separates basic reporting roles from high impact analytics roles. Data visualization skills are definitely on the rise and they are important. It's not enough to just find insights. You need, how do we present them? Let's present data with clarity. Dashboards, charts, they should tell a story just with a glance and not confuse the viewer. Also, your audience should be hooked on with this data that you're presenting. You need solid statistics, understanding concepts like distributions, correlation, variability helps you avoid wrong conclusions and build confidence in your insights. And finally, there is business interpretation. This is where I would say most of the analysts struggle. Data by itself is useless unless you can explain what it means. for the business, and what is that one action that will change the whole game. This is what turns an analyst into a decision partner. Business analyst versus data analyst is definitely not a competition. I would say choose between business analyst if you love people, processes, and problem solving. Choose data analyst if you love data, tools, analytical depth. Because at the end of the day, the best career is not the highest paying one today, it's the one you can grow in for next 10 years. Now, before we wrap this up, let's just leave you with an important thought. If you are someone who doesn't want to limit yourself to just one role and you genuinely want a future proof your career by understanding both business and data analytics, then choosing the right learning path really matters. At Win in Life or Villa, we have designed programs for this. Our PG Diploma in Business Analytics Next Gen AI is built for students, freshers, and working professionals who want clarity, confidence, and real world analytical skills. You don't just learn theory, you get hands on training in business analysis, data analytics, AI powered tools, and work on real world projects, case studies, and receive career support to move towards your ideal analytics role. You can check out the details here. And if your immediate goal is to build strong data analytics fundamentals, we also offer a certificate in data analytics. Focus on core skills like data handling, analysis, and visualization. Perfect for getting started or strengthening your data profile. You can check out all the details here. And remember one thing, learn, upskill, win in life.